market strategist with ATFX, and I'm also the chief editor of investingcube.com. And we're going to take a look at the markets that we should do at this time of the day and see if anything is happening. I do know stock markets are up a bit. This is the Nasdaq. Oh, sorry, the Dow Jones. Sorry, it's not the Dow Jones. It's the DAX. So we're going to talk a bit about that and see if there's anything left in the market, just as people are heading for the holiday period here in Northern Europe and well, Northern Hemisphere, I would say, most places at least, and in the Western world, of course, with Christmas. Okay, we're gonna begin with the euro, and in the euro, there's not too much activity today, and up until recently, we have been working with a short-term uptrend. The price was, as you know, creating these higher and higher lows. So we had that low here, then you had that low here, then this low here, and then you had this being my trend finding level. And obviously, as long as the market does like this, we want to get involved. And we got that little push here, and then we got that little push here, which did happen from this buy spot that I mentioned. So that worked out fine. But eventually, what happened here is, of course, that the market did trade slightly lower. And what is a bit of an issue right now is that it's quite difficult for the market to hold on to a trend. So we had this little move to the upside. That was the thing is though, like you might remember, turned bullish from pretty much, I think it was pretty much here, and that worked fine, all that move. And then, you know, when we go down, I would look for that to head upwards. And eventually it failed, and I said look to sell for this to head down. So we got this section here, right? We got this section here, right here as well. But then, you know, because it's heading lower, I said, okay, when it goes up, look to sell. I don't remember exactly what happened here. But we went down. And then obviously on the way to the upside, we still want to sell as long as trade below these levels here. Yes, I remember now. We got this segment right here as well. We got this section right, this section right. I remember, because remember we said let it go up and sell in the correction, and it took for ages for it to go up, but we eventually did. So we got this right and this right, and then when we went up here, the idea was to sell here again in this spot, but at that point the price traded above this high here, and we're not dealing with an uptrend, a downtrend anymore. And then the market, as you know, went up, and I think this section here was a bit difficult, and then we went up, and now this section here is getting a bit difficult. So it's a bit problematic when you can't get a sustained downtrend and you can't get a sustained uptrend. So when that happens, not that we're not able to get something out of this, but when it starts to get messy like this, I like to take a step back. So I want to take a step back and effectively be neutral, this pair between 108, 109.81 and 111.99. So very straightforward, neutral within that range, not doing anything. And I reckon most likely, maybe in the short term, the price will, you know, head up a bit. So we'll do something like that, and probably down again, and then maybe up, and then we can probably narrow things down. So I think this range will become narrower, and then what we'll do, maybe first week or second week of January, we'll do like that, potentially like that, okay? But until that happens, I think this is going to be quite choppy around these current levels, and I prefer staying away from it, having this very wide range, and then narrow it down over the next few weeks. Here's GBP versus the USD. So here's where we're dealing with a bit of an uptrend, creating higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. So we said look for the break to the upside. It will probably head upwards, which it did. And the market went all the way up to targets, which is what I wanted. And then you had that election thing, election outcome. And then obviously when the market goes down, the idea is just to be bullish. There's nothing wrong, you know, betting on something like this. You know, the market went up, and then the market did like that. In fact, as well, just ahead of the election, because the idea was to buy here, book profits around here, and then if we go down, then you probably want to be a buyer and do something like that. And that worked out fine. Stop losses down here, and we wanted to do the same here, but so you can see that did not work out. And then at the end what happened is that the market traded below support and got stopped out. Now what happens is you have short-term trends like this one, but then you can probably at one point be able to do something like that, and then you have this trend line that is coming from here. So I think it was maybe just a failure of that short-term trend, and I think that maybe realistically, maybe we'll do something like this over the next few week or so, and then maybe if it does like that, we'll turn bullish. So we stop creating these lower highs. So keep an eye on 131, 33. Take that out and probably gonna start to go upwards. But I think this is probably gonna be able to be lowered, and I think this is gonna be really quiet. Markets will be closed on the 25th, and then on the 26th as well. It's pretty much closed. And then you got the 1st of 31st, closer early, I think, and also the 1st of January, also closer. It's just gonna be quite quiet, as you can probably imagine. So I wouldn't get too excited right now, and this could easily just again continue to trade sideways here, and there's not much is probably going to happen here over the next few days. Dollar yen. Now the yen is a bit different because you can easily have it actually do a bit of trade a bit, have a bit of trending, sorry, around this time of the year, and I'm quite truthful with this. Buying a pullback from 108.92 makes sense. Alternatively buying the breakout, but you need to be careful with buying the breakout just because of the holiday period. So what you want to do is you want to keep a look at Euro yen, maybe Aussie dollar yen and New Zealand dollar yen. So you want to see if is the yen gaining or weakening against all these. You can use that as some sort of a signal. But if it's just the dollar yen going upwards and Euro yen is not doing too much, then it's a bit of a warning sign. Unless of course the dollar is doing really good against everything. Crude oil markets. So this has been, slowly moving upwards, but we're still dealing with that little trend line here. You can see some people gave up, they pushed price down. Might go up a bit, but I think if anything, down here. Alternatively, if you're really bullish, you can probably focus on this little section here, being bullish about 57, 68. This is the price of gold, and the idea has been to be bullish from these levels down here. Lately, of course, the market hasn't really done too much. It's pretty much just stuck here, and it does look like it wants to trade higher. You got this trend line coming up, and you got the high here. This is the high from December 12th, and I think if we do take this out, we're probably gonna go up a bit, and then probably down, and then probably upwards again. But this is starting to resolve itself to some extent. Again, you have a little bit like the GBP, right? You have an overall bullish trend, and what's happening is potentially maybe something that we have had here. See that little section like that, and then we could be maybe about to reach that point here. It's not exactly like that, but it's something like this. It's like a bearish channel, and we might be here, and again similar like that. So it's starting to become interesting again, the different ways of dealing with this. But one can buy the breakout, but otherwise like that, and then down, and then like that. Sometimes of course the market doesn't really look back, just goes up. S&P 500. S&P 500 is doing really good. So obviously on fire, and I think what's happening here again is end of month money flows, people get paid, this goes into the pension savings, this pushes stock markets up. There's something that is statistically proven in certain stock markets. You have as well, I think, very low liquidity, and people buy. Sometimes what happens is that they're not buying the S&P, but they're buying the companies that are made up by the S&P, and then people do different judgment calls there, but they will say, all right, this company is really good because the XYZ fundamentals, and then they will buy some. Or someone at a Christmas dinner or party told them like, hey, look, this is a very good stock, and they will buy. So there's many reasons, but I think obviously the trend is bullish. People that I don't necessarily are friends of mine that are not really interested in financial markets are sort of coming to me and saying, oh, have you seen this stock, or have you seen this, have you seen that, and people that are not very into it are starting to get a bit excited. So that could also explain maybe why this is going upwards. at these lofty levels. And then you have as well, I think you have a bunch of hedge funds and a lot of people that are just being bearish, and they just caught it all wrong. There's some people that are stubbornly bearish, and it's interesting, you know. I find it always interesting. You have some people, they've been bearish for so many years, and they have like thousands of followers. Like, I think I have like 13,000 followers, something like that. These are people who have 85,000 followers, and they're always wrong. Like, they're always, doesn't matter if the market is here or here, they're always telling you to sell. Not sure why people even bother to follow those people. I follow them to gauge where they are at. You know, are they giving up on their bearish view? Or are they getting stronger? So I gauge it like that. Sometimes when all these people, because there's a few of them out there that, you know, are all very like happy that you had a slide, then that's an indication sometimes that it's time to, you know, book profits. And sometimes, you know, when we head higher and higher, you can use them a bit like a mood or contrarian. But again, I'm actually quite amazed. But again, apparently it's big business. I talked with one of them, and he told me that being bearish is a good business, apparently. So being bearish all the time, not being neutral in your view, is big business. We know as well, of course, you know, from certain media outlets. There's certain media outlets, everything doesn't matter what people say or not. They're always taking it from the negative side. Like gang crime is going up. You know, XYZ is going up. Everything is bad. There's nothing good, and they got a very strong following. Obviously, very opinionated readers as well. Anyway, I think those people might getting a bit squeezed here. And you have some hedge funds as well. They're probably getting squeezed. They need to square up their books. And right now, I think liquidity should be very low. Let's see if we can actually load. We can sometimes load the actual S&P 500, the actual index. If I can find it though. Maybe it's this one. Don't usually look at volume so much. No volume provided. Can't seem to find it now. Let's take a look at the E-mini future. You're seeing some slight. Let's look at the daily. Here you got some decent volume. It's very difficult, this volume analysis many times. But it's obviously lower than usual. Yeah, probably not going to be able to do anything with this. But it would be fair to assume that there's not too much volume here. And it would be fair to assume that come first or second week of January, you might have some sort of negative reaction. This market might actually come down a bit. And then maybe you can probably pick something up here at the lower levels. That's what I would say. And you can probably reduce the trend defining level a tiny bit to 3,100. So look for that little pullback. And then, you know, exactly like this one. When we were here, very few people were like anticipating this. And then you had 2.77% decline in about 3 days. And then 2.77. If we go down here, that's 2.27. 2.77. Effectively, we could be down here in a matter of 2 days or something. And then we need to make some adjustments. Maybe this is not the best time at that point, depending on how strong it goes down. But in this little area here, I think it makes sense to look to get involved whenever that happens. Now this is the German DAX. The German DAX, we did spoke about this one, and the idea was when it comes down, maybe want to get involved here and then lift this to the upside. It's looking good right now, and you know, we are in the money if you did buy here, and I think at one point we could probably reduce the stop loss a bit, but I think it's a little bit too early right now. Okay, let's see if you guys have any questions. We got Antonio. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Name the perma bears, please. There is one, you know, he's famous. Let's go on my Twitter. I don't know him personally. He's called Northman, I think. Like this guy here, Sven Rich. I mean, he publishes a lot of good stuff, interesting charts as well. But most of the stuff is just like here, bubble issues. There is one other guy as well. He's very famous. He's been around for years. I don't remember his name, but he's done like this whole report, and the whole idea is that he's on the lookout for bubbles, and I think he was made very very famous in 2008 when the market crashed. So what happens is that obviously if you tell everybody that the market's gonna crash, at one point you'll get it right, and then you become the hero. Yeah, but Northman is one of them. Seems to be a good guy, but it's very difficult to find him to tell you to look to go and buy. So okay, we're gonna wrap things up, I think, unless we have any questions. If you wanna keep on top of what I'm doing, check out my Twitter. The thing with me that I'm trying to be more balanced. I try to be on the money making side. Not all years are good years, I can tell you that. And that's fully normal because that's the way it works. And much of my stuff is not sugar coated in any way. It's the ups and it's the downs. However, I'm making money, and I think that's what is important. And I always try to help other people making money as well in the trading. But I try to be on the side where the money is going with the trends. And sometimes that means I'm bearish. Sometimes that means I'm bullish. And I think that's really important to have that attitude if you want to make money and actually trading. If you want to make money on Twitter, just pick a side. Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap things up. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow for the next market update here on Investing Cube and the ATFX channel. What else? I'm gonna be live tomorrow, but then after that I'm gonna be away for about a week. Gonna time to relax and get ready for the next year. Don't forget to check out our morning updates. We have our analysis, really. We have the market brief, which we publish every morning around 8 a.m. And then we have the midday wrap up. And then you have a bunch of other stuff. It's quite straightforward. The latest updates are up here. This is the Forex section. So this is the latest Forex updates. You can see just today we have 4 updates. I'm not sure really the way this one is here. But you have these ones. And then you have commodities. And then you have the indices section here. And then you have the cryptocurrency section here. We don't do too much shares usually on earnings season. That's when we read more about them. We have them here. And then this is just a full set of stuff. Now, if you want to get ready and sort of maybe have a few ideas to keep an eye on for next year, then check out the trade ideas for 2020. So there's a few ideas here. Mine is the Dow Jones. Then you have the dollar yen by Angeline. You got Euro USD, which Nico has written, and then you have Inno, which is talking about Bitcoin. So these are the 4 top markets that the team here at Investing Cube would like to keep an eye on. You can read that here. And then as well, we have the trading summit. So this is the online trading summit, which we hosted on November 30th. And we have all the recordings now. So you have different recordings. You got Charlie, Glenn, Ian, myself, Angeline, and Sekmir. And again, you can just watch this. It's free to watch. As long as you have an account with us, then you can watch the actual recordings. That's free. Again, to get an account, you just need to register. It's up here. Yeah, so this is it. And you can sign in with Facebook, or you can sign in with Google. Alternatively, you can just fill out this form and then click submit and confirm. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a good day and happy Christmas and so on and so on. And I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys next. Well, tomorrow really. Actually, I got a few questions here. Am I trading on these thin markets? Yes, that's true. Yes, it's true. Yes, yes. Last year, so Antonio's talking about a move in the euro yen and the Aussie dollar yen and dollar yen. I'm not holding any positions right now. I did trade up until recently. I think I was in Dubai for like a week, for some time off. So I didn't since then. Really, in the last 2 weeks, I haven't really added anything new. Yeah, so we're talking about this slide here. I remember that very well. Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap things up. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Don't forget to check out the site as well on investmentcube.com. Thank you, and bye-bye. Cheers.